You know, I think we can all relate to one of those moments in life when we've had absolute dread of doing something we felt completely ill prepared to do. Something that kept you awake at night. Maybe it's an important phone call. Maybe it's leaving a job or having to let somebody go from a job that's become a really good friend but's no longer able to do the job or you can't pay them. Or maybe it's phoning your parents to tell them something that you think they're going to be pretty disappointed about. All kinds of reasons. Maybe it's a sales call, or I gotta reach out and make a cold call to someone. I know that one gets to me quite often. And over the years, I've learned this little technique that, if done with repetition, can actually start to change the way that you face this kind of an event. And we call it tapping. Emotional freedom tapping. And there's a lot of different ways to do it, and a lot of people teach it different, but when I teach it to my clients, I'd like to show you how I do that. I think it's pretty simple and something that all of us can do to really help create a little bit of more courage when we're feeling that dread, that sense of I can't. So the first thing I want you to think about is that tapping is based on an acupressure technique, and it does not require you to know the exact spots. So this is not about, do I need to use my left hand or my right hand? Just play. Everybody put your two fingers up just like this. And I want you to take those two fingers and begin to tap third eye right here. Take a nice deep breath with your eyes up like we did with the light switch technique. And I want you to repeat these words after me. Even though sometimes the idea of doing this fills me with dread, I'm just going to let that go. Good. Right here on the side of your eyebrow. Even though the idea of doing this fills me with dread, I'm just going to let that go. Even though, right here under your eye, even though sometimes the idea of doing that fills me with dread, I'm going to let that go. Now we change it, right here under the nose. Even though sometimes, I'm going to let that go. Right here in the hollow of the chin. Even though sometimes, I'm going to let that go. Collarbone. Even though sometimes, I'm just going to let that go. And right here on the brow line, just underneath, even though sometimes, I'm going to let that go. Take a deep breath. And now right here on the karate chop, even though, I'm going to let it go. Even though, I'm going to let it go. Right on the cuticle or the edge of the thumb, even though I'm letting it go. And I want you to get a big smile now. Right on the finger, even though I'm letting it go. And right here, even though, letting it go. Next finger, even though, letting it go. Even though, letting it go. Now take a nice deep breath. Think, let it go. Ground yourself. And then come back to your karate chop, because this can now be your shortcut. So anytime you need to let something go, I'm going to let that go. No more dread. Make that call. You know you want to. You know you need to. And there's nothing between you and that will ever produce more than your imagination can create.